enthusiasm, right? I promise you one of these days I'm definitely going to come up with like an official formal thing to say here at the beginning. I'm Katie Rex. My Twitter is @EOTUcomics. If you want to talk to me after the show, that would be great. It's Wednesday, so as you know, that's my favorite fucking day. It's New Comic Book Day. We have a lot of really cool things that are coming out this week. Again, it's too many for me to name. I did kind of try last time. I did a bad job last time. That's fine, that's over. So for today we're going to be talking about three distinct ideas. We're going to be talking about trade paperbacks, which for those of you who don't know is a collected novel version of a single story arc of a comic book series. We're going to be talking about first issues because there are a lot of #1s coming out this week, and we're going to be talking about some ongoing series that we love, and of course at the end we will tell you our book of the week. I'm pretty excited about it. Our first trade that we're going to talk about today comes from Action Lab Entertainment. It is by Jeremy Holt and the art is by Alex Diato. We've got colors by Adam Metcalf and letters by Adam Wallet. The book is Southern Dog, and it's this sort of I want to say it's almost slice of life. It's almost realistic. It's about a small southern town and a boy that doesn't quite fit in because he is sensitive and because he is not in the KKK, unlike his family. So it's going to deal a lot with issues of race, and I think it handles them pretty well. There are a couple of moments that are not as good. There are moments where, for instance, they write the dialogue of the black characters in a way that's very, very much what white people think black people talk like, which is not great, not my favorite part, but I haven't gotten to the best part. So they deal with these issues of race in a very serious way, and then our main character, the sensitive boy that doesn't quite fit in, he's a fucking werewolf. So I don't want to say a ton more. He does go wolfy when he gets mad about racism. So I guess it's a little bit of a white savior story, but it's overall a pretty good time. And I don't want to call it exactly a white savior story because there are people of color on the creative team that are really trying to express some feelings that they've been having about American culture and society, but I'm not sure I love their choice of a main character in Jasper, even though I do love that he's a werewolf. Love the werewolf. Next up on our trades list from Valiant is The Delinquents. You guys have probably heard me talk about this one before on Twitter if you follow me there, or any number of the other places that I talk about comics. There are a lot of them. Anyway, The Delinquents is by James Asmus and Fred Van Lente. The pencils and colors, I guess, are by Kano? The letters are by Dave Sharp. If you're familiar with the Valiant universe and you know Quantum and Woody, the world's worst superhero team, and I talked about them last episode, so if you didn't watch that, you're a dick and I hate you. And then there's Archer and Armstrong, which is another series in the Valiant universe, and this is a team-up book between those two. And if you're only reading one of those titles, this is a really great way to learn about the other title. And so the premise here is that there's a Hobo King, and the Hobo King has a treasure, and the map to the Hobo King's treasure has been tattooed on the ass of a hobo. And that hobo has died, and his ass has been skinned and turned and tanned. Each team, Archer and Armstrong and Quantum and Woody, have half of the hobo ass map. They each have a cheek. So they are sort of on a working together but sort of rivalry of trying to find the Hobo King's treasure, and it's every bit as ridiculous and funny and amazing as you'd think it would be. So go check that out. We have a lot of number ones to talk about. We're going to start with Postal number 1 from Image Comics. That's under their Top Cow imprint. It's written partially by Top Cow president Matt Hawkins, along with Brian Hill. We've got art on the book from Isaac Goodhart, and they also have colors from Betsy Gonia and letters by Peter Pateri, not Peter Petrelli. Anyway, Postal number 1 is a really interesting book about sort of an alternate reality version of a town in Wyoming where people go if they have been convicted of a crime, and not just convicted, and not just this is a second chance. It's their last chance to make it work. It's sort of Australia. So their society has to work. And the one rule is you cannot commit another crime while you live in the city. They have this openness about how everybody is there for a reason. They are all criminals. They all messed up in one way or another. So there's no need to pretend. And it follows the son of the mayor, who actually is the only person in town who has not been convicted of anything. He's just the child of a convict. Anyway, I don't want to spoil too much about the ending, but I will say that the second half of it sets this series up to be sort of eerie Twin Peaksy, and I definitely think that this one is worth picking up this Wednesday. You can cut that out, right? Another really cool number 1 that's coming out this week is from Boom. It's called Cluster. It looks amazing. It's written and lettered by Ed Brisson. The pencils are by Damien Cucero. The colors are by Michael Garland. The main character, Samara, is a principled loner type chick who just kicks a ton of butt. She's just a totally kick-ass lady, and if you like Bitch Planet, pick this up. It's sort of like Postal. It's about a last chance colony for prisoners, and so they electively join this sort of army on another planet fighting aliens. It's pretty, it's funny, it's well written. Cluster number 1. Last on our number 1s for the week is from Valiant. It is called Imperium. It is by Joshua Dysart and Doug Braithwaite. We've got colors by Brian Reber and Dave McKeag, and the letters are by Dave Sharp. You're gonna end up rooting for the bad guys. I'm sorry, you are. And it's counterintuitive, I know, but it's just how it's gonna go. Darpan is reminiscing on his life, on how great society is, how far we've come as a culture. We have we've developed the ability to unlock people's psiot powers in ways that are safe and don't harm anyone. So then Darpan wakes up, and it turns out that this was a vision that was given to him by a psiot named Toya Harada, and Toyo gave him that vision as a way of, it's sort of a rallying cry. And Darpan finds himself in a ship filled with Harbingers, and you may remember Harbingers from other series by Joshua Dysart, and if you like Harbingers, you may know my girl Faith here, Zephyr. I love this. She's sweet. A lot of things happen. There's a sassy robot named Mech Major. He requires everybody call him Sunlight on Snow. This is a great book with a really plot-rich narrative. There's a lot going on. I highly recommend you pick it up this week. There may be spoilers ahead because I am going to tell you what's happened up until this issue, but I promise you I won't spoil anything that happens in the issues that are new this week. First, we're going to talk about Lady Killer number 2 from Dark Horse. It's by Jamie S. Rich and Joelle Jones, with colors by Laura Allred, I Can Speak Today, and letters by Crank. It starts with this idea that that women have to balance their home life and their work life, and you can choose one. You can choose having a career, or you can choose having a family. And you can't really do both, except that Josie decides she's going to, and also her career is as like a spy type assassin lady. She's got a lot of really fun femme fatale things happening. If you like Agent Carter and the way she turns sexism around on the people that are sexist and use the ways that they underestimate her to her advantage, then you're going to like the way that Josie does the same thing. Next up on ongoings that I'm really enjoying is Birthright number 5. That's Image Comics, and that's going to be with Joshua Williamson and Andre Bresson on art. The colors are by Adriano Lucas, and we've got letters by Pat Brosseau. Yes. Birthright's a really fun story about a character named Mikey. He's a baby, he gets kidnapped, and his parents have to kind of deal with all of the awful things that come with losing a child, but with more uncertainty than if he had just died. And then, about a year after he got kidnapped, a full-grown man with a big bushy beard comes into their lives and says that he's Mikey. They find him, or they get a call from the police station saying that he is their baby son Mikey, and he's been in an alternate realm, and he got trained to be a warrior and raised by angels, and there's a demon war. So the end of last issue, number 4, was a cliffhanger, like in the middle of a fight scene, and what I appreciate is that it didn't just then resolve that cliffhanger in one panel. And I think that there's a lot of development of the family dynamic because Mikey's big brother, who is still a child, has a lot of protective feelings toward him, but is sort of also coming to realize that he may not be exactly who he says he is. And so this issue, just lots of really cool build-up. Next up is Egos. It's by Stuart Moore and Gus Storms. Colors by John Rausch and letters by Rob Steen. It's about this sort of superhero team known as the Egos, or Earth Galactic Operatives. Oh, and this series is about predominantly these two main characters, Deuce and Pixel, and Deuce and Pixel's marriage. It is narrated by their estranged and degenerate son, who smokes a future bomb. Egos is a lot of fun. The colors are frickin' gorgeous. I don't know a ton about John Rausch's career, but the colors are phenomenal. With Angela, Asgard's assassin. If you haven't followed this so far, we're only on issue number 3. You can totally go pick up the other 2. I bet they're still in your shop, unless you have a really tiny shop and they don't have it, in which case I'm really sorry and you can't catch up because digital doesn't exist. Oh wait! Angela is the daughter of Odin that got kidnapped at birth and raised by the angels in heaven and is now, well, was back, and she was back exactly long enough to kidnap her newborn sister. So there are a lot of really fun Loki moments in here because Loki and Angela have a lot to relate about. And this issue just continues Thor and Loki looking for Angela to rescue their baby sister. Check it out. Next on the list is Ms. Marvel number 11. I don't want to tell you too much about it. Ms. Marvel is Kamala Khan now, as I'm sure you know. There's a trade out about it. You can read that and catch up some. We're on issue 11. It's all sort of been building up to this confrontation with the inventor, who, as it turns out, is a bird. Don't call him a bird. He's a bird. So the inventor has convinced a lot of young people that their lives are essentially meaningless, and the best way that they can do something for society is to become glorified batteries. And Kamala's like, fuck that, that's not even, she doesn't believe in it. And she thinks that it's the opposite of progress. It's actually really pessimistic. Next up we have The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl number 2. If you're not familiar with Squirrel Girl, she's a mild-mannered college student, Doreen Green, except that she has this secret identity as Squirrel Girl, and that means she has partially squirrel blood and the proportionate strength and speed of a squirrel, and she's also really terrible at remembering to be her mild-mannered persona, Doreen Green. which is amazing and wonderful in the ways that you think it would be. This issue focuses both on her battle with Galactus and her relationship with her roommate Nancy, because they're going to make a school club about her roommate's cat named Mew. It's going to be a Mew Appreciation Club, but also battle Galactus, yay. And now it's time for our book of the week from Zenescope. I know that you think that Zenescope has this reputation for being the boobs comics, and they are. This one still has boobs in it and is great. It's written by the founders of Zenescope, Ralph Tedesco and Joe Bruscia. The art is by David Lorenzo Riviero, and colors by Jorge Alberto Cortez, with letters by Jim Campbell. Let me explain to you the premise here. There's a guy, he's a relatively unknown guy, and he got cast as a lead role in a star-studded superhero film. And by star-studded, I mean, let's see, Shia LaBeouf, I mean Tom Cruise, I mean Dwayne Johnson, I mean Bryan Cranston, I mean Selena Gomez, I mean fucking stars. And it's amazing. And I don't want to tell you too much because every fucking thing that happens is so hilarious. Number 2 is out this week. It's a 2-part series, so this is the shocking conclusion. Definitely pick up number 1. You cannot pick up number 2 and just like know what's happening, but even if you could, you wouldn't want to. Also, zombies. Also zombies. So then we have all these stars, we're making fun of the stars in a Mad Magazine parody type of way, and then the zombies attack and they bite Justin Bieber, and he's a giant whiny baby about it. I mean, he dies, so that's fine. Oh, and finally, we've got a cameo from William Shatner, who will not shut the fuck up about the Star Trek convention that he has to attend soon, and so we better be finished. That's my ending. I think that's an ending. That's an ending. The end, guys.